This is shaping up to be a busy weather weekend with 3 major tropical storm systems expected to make landfall. In the Gulf of Mexico, Hurricane Hanna is gaining strength as it approaches landfall in southern Texas. Massive waves could be seen off the coast near Galveston. The storm is expected to dump as much as 15 inches of rain in some areas, which could trigger dangerous flash flooding. CBS News meteorologist and climate specialist Jeff Berardelli joins us now. So, Jeff, Hanna has been upgraded to hurricane status.
Yeah.
How big of a threat is it posing to Texas?
Well, it's a bigger threat than originally we thought it would be. I mean, it looked like there was going to be the possibility this would become a hurricane before landfall, but that wasn't the official forecast. It has. Winds are 80 miles an hour, and right now, as we look at the storm, you can see that the eye walls beginning to come on shore around South Padre Island in between Corpus Christi and Brownsville. Now, there are going to be some damaging wind gusts. We'll probably have a few wind gusts to 85, maybe as high as 90 miles an hour. That means there are going to be some power lines down, some power outages, some trees down. But the bigger story is the rainfall. It's a hurricane warning. There's a storm surge warning that's in effect. All that purple indicating the really enhanced cloud cover. Rainfall is probably going to end up being somewhere between around 6 and 12 inches in general, but some places picking up at least 18 inches of rain. So this is going to be a big flood event for South Texas, especially from Corpus Christi southward. You can see that rain in the purple and white. That's 12 inches plus in the white.
And from one storm to another, we're also watching Hurricane Douglas. It's already reached Category 3 strength in the Pacific and is currently on track for Hawaii. So what are we expecting to see there?
So it's still about 400 or 500 miles to the east of Hawaii. It is weakening. Luckily, it had winds close to 130 miles an hour. Now it's closer to 100 miles an hour. You can see the storm right there. And the official forecast is going to take it westward at around 20 miles an hour. It's likely to skirt on the northern edge of the island chain, missing the big island of Hawaii, but coming closer to the rest of those islands, probably as a Cat 1 storm. So they may see some wind gusts over 75 miles an hour. But the bigger story is really large waves and very dangerous surf, and also the possibility of landslides and mudslides with flash flooding. Around 3 to 6 inches of rain is possible there.
Oh, not good news for Hawaii. And what's the status of the tropical storm Gonzalo in the Caribbean, Jeff?
Yeah, so this is the good news. Gonzalo is basically disintegrating right before our very eyes. It should be gone within the next 24 hours or so. Right now, it's just squally thunderstorms around Trinidad and Tobago, and that's going to die out by tomorrow. So that's the good news. It'll end. You'll see this track just kind of end in the southern Caribbean. We call it the graveyard for storms. It's way too far south.
All right, we're glad that one is dissipating. Well, it's still relatively early in the hurricane season. Why are we seeing so much activity so soon?
Well, there's a lot of factors. There's not just one factor. Everything seems to be coming together, though. But the biggest issue is water temperatures are literally through the roof, and some of this is due to human-caused climate change. Ocean temperatures have warmed up 1 to 2 degrees or so. And look at that. So wherever you see the deep shade of red, that is historically hot water temperatures in the Atlantic. And it is most of the main development region from the Caribbean out into the central and eastern part of the Atlantic. Anywhere you see shaded within those white lines, so the really dark shades of red, those are record high temperatures. And so this is like jet fuel, like steroids for storms. We're already 10 days or so ahead of the record pace in terms of number of storms already. And we're going to see more. As we look at our computer models, we can see at least a couple more of these storms form over just the next couple of weeks. But really, the main part of season's not supposed to begin until mid-August, so we're a couple of weeks ahead on that one. It's going to be a historic season, probably the second most active season on record, I'd say.
Oh, as if 2020 hasn't handed us enough. Well, Jeff, we know you are our climate expert. And there's, I'm sure you're well aware, a new landmark study revealing a more accurate prediction of how CO2 buildup in our atmosphere will impact global temperatures. So please tell us, why is this study so important, and what does it tell us about our current state of our planet?
So this is a huge study. I think it was between 25 and 30 scientists got together to do this, and it was necessary. So basically, for the last 40 years, we've been asking ourselves, what happens if we double carbon dioxide from what it used to be in the 1800s, about 280 parts per million, and we double that? How much does the temperature rise? Well, for all these years, the range, for the last 40 years, the range has been between 2.7 and 8.1 degrees. You can see it on the bottom of your screen right there. That has been the range. That's not useful at all, because it's really hard to plan when you don't know if you double the CO2, and we're doing that because of the burning of fossil fuels. You don't know how warm it's going to get. You don't know how many changes you're going to see, how many system changes you're going to see around the world. Well, this new study has finally narrowed that range to really between 5 degrees Fahrenheit and around 7.5 degrees Fahrenheit. That's bad, because you can see all the mild scenarios are gone. 2, 3, even 4 degrees gone if we double carbon dioxide. It's looking more like 5 or 6 degrees Fahrenheit or more if we double carbon dioxide, and that could happen by 2050 or 2060. It doesn't have to happen. We could change our habits on Earth, but most likely it is going to happen. And when it does, there's going to be some really big change, and in some cases it will be devastating unless we change our ways.
We shall see. Really insightful information. Jeff Berardelli, thank you.
You're welcome.